Hello guys, welcome back once again to my channel where we brief you on immigration. As it is now, there are countries you need to start avoiding in this 2025 when it comes to seeking asylum. Now, this country is one in my list, and I'm also going to talk about other countries that doesn't want immigrants or that will never favor immigrants. Poland is one of them, and I'm also going to talk about it later. But now let's focus on Netherlands first. As it is now, they say that Netherlands no longer welcomes asylum seekers. If you know you're a refugee, if you know you're a migrant who is seeking refuge in Europe, going to Netherlands is a waste of time, will be one of the biggest mistakes that you can do. Okay? Netherlands coalition government agrees on tough measures against immigrants. So if you know, what they want to do is to process migrants and probably send them to Uganda. The same ideology that the UK had, which never worked. That is what the Netherlands is planning on right now. The proposal initiated by Dutch Minister Renate Clever during a visit to Uganda last October mirrors other proposals to outsource migration procedures to a third country. They said that the number of asylum seekers are too many in their country as it is now, so they want to outsource them. That is, anybody that arrives, this is the idea that they are trying to create. Now, Italy is also having a similar ideology. The only thing holding it back is the humanitarian idea of saving people. But believe me, as time goes by, one day these countries will come together in one accord in agreeing on what they want to do with immigrants who are flooding their countries. Now, they say that the Netherlands is reviewing its plans to send failed asylum seekers to Uganda as a third country. Deportation hub, Dutch News reported on February 21st. Mirroring other similar plans to outsource migration procedures to third country, the proposed deal with Uganda involves sending those whose asylum applications were rejected to the East African country, where they would wait to return to their countries of origin in the region. In return, Uganda will receive financial compensation from Netherlands. Renate Clever, Minister of Foreign Trade and Development Aid, initiated the plan during a state visit to Uganda last October, which is in 2024. Now, from now on, Dutch interest will take precedence in our country's development policy. All the programs we fund must contribute directly to our own interest, promoting trade, enhancing security, and reducing migration, Clever said in a statement. The right-wing Party for Freedom, PVV, had earlier proposed declaring a nationwide state of emergency to enforce strict migration measures without requiring parliamentary approval. The leaders of the coalition government instead agreed to shift to more restrictive asylum rules. So the coalition government did not only agree with what the current government is saying. The coalition government said that the ruling party, the ruling government, the government in power is not even doing enough, that what they are doing is a child's play, that they should go deeper. You know, all these hype pastors now that follow them, yes, that they go deeper, go deeper. That's what the coalition is telling the ruling party, that they should go deeper and restrict more. They don't want asylum seekers in their countries anymore. Now, the thing has sparked big debate. They said that the deportation plan, while reportedly in its initial stage, has sparked criticisms from those who say it is against European Union laws against forced return. So European Union laws is the only thing holding back these countries from achieving their aims. Okay, UK is trying it. Italy is also struggling with its own plan to send migrants to Albania. You see, so all the activists has frustrated these moves. Now, the same thing that is happening in the US, some activists are also fighting Donald Trump to make sure that his dream of deporting failed asylum seekers does not come to pass. Following Clever's visit to Uganda in October, the local press reported that the proposal sparked debate within the East African country. Some Ugandan officials were said to have raised concerns about the feasibility as well as the ethical implications of sheltering rejected asylum seekers from Europe. The United Kingdom made a similar proposal to Rwanda in 2022. The proposal was met with much opposition and was elevated to the Supreme Court until the plan was finally scrapped with the election of the Labour Party last July, which Keir Starmer is leading now. You see? So every country in Europe is planning on a way to do away with immigrants that are flooding their countries, which I believe that in the nearest future, these people will finally come to agreement. And once they agree, they may tamper with the already existing laws that has been restricting them from achieving their goals. Now, Uganda is no stranger to offering protection to those escaping war and persecution. According to 2023 estimate by the United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, Uganda is hosting estimated 1.6 million refugees from neighboring countries, Sudan, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, they say that UNHCR cited Uganda as a model of the Global Compact on Refugees, GCR, which promotes refugees' protection and rights as well as safe returns. However, the country also has one of the strictest anti-LGBTQ laws in the world. Under the Anti-Homosexuality Act, homosexuality is punishable by death. Frank Mugisha, a prominent LGBT rights advocate and the head of Sexual Minorities Uganda, SMOG, took to social media to voice out opposition to the plan. According to Dr. Frank Mugisha, on his Twitter page, he said, "Don't send LGBTQ asylum plus asylum seekers to Uganda." So he doesn't want that to happen. Oh my God. When it has to do with LGBTQ. So in this country, Uganda, they don't want to hear gay. You can't even cross-dress in that very country. So if you know you are gay and you are going up and down, you run enter Netherlands and they take you to Uganda. Overnight, your that spirit in you will disappear, will leave you and fly away. You think it's a joke? No, just be playing. So Uganda is not, Netherlands is no longer interested. Let's take a look at this very video before we go to the next update.
These gates and this patch of grass are well known to new arrivals in the Netherlands. We are just outside the registration centre in Ter Apel. Any asylum seeker who arrives overland to the Netherlands needs to register here first. As a result, it's often full, and then priority is given to women and children.
They just tell us to wait. Maybe they'll come and take us inside, or maybe we'll sleep here. We don't know.
But it's a far cry from the summer of 2022, when hundreds of asylum seekers slept on the same field in front of the centre. Abdelkader arrived yesterday and spent the night in a nearby gymnasium, as there was no room for him here. Since his departure from Syria a few months ago, this 26-year-old has set his sights on building a new life in the Netherlands. He hasn't heard of the recent asylum plans of the government, including restrictions on family reunification and new rules to bring down the success rate of applications.
I chose to come here. How can I change my mind? The Netherlands is a European country, just like Germany or Austria. We chose the Netherlands because it's a safe country, and it's a country where you can live in freedom.
But Abdelkader will have to wait. Some people here are starting to question how the Netherlands asylum process is organized. Why do all applicants need to register at this single location?
We have asylum centres throughout the whole country. Normally we still have space to bring people there. That's the way it's supposed to work. People arrive in Ter Apel and then, after a certain time, move on to another asylum centre in another location. But those other asylum centres are completely full.
The Prime Minister sees it as part of a bigger issue.
Asylum status holders cannot leave the reception centres because the housing market is stuck. The asylum chain is completely stuck. People have to wait too long for their applications to be processed. So there is urgency to take action, and this cannot be up for discussion.
27,000 people received asylum in the Netherlands last year, 2,500 less than in 2022. But the extreme right, which was the biggest winner in the last elections and part of the ruling coalition, recently tried to invoke an asylum crisis.
I would like the asylum emergency law. That's my route.
This controversial project has been shelved, but the government is still looking to expedite the implementation of these measures. Many experts believe this is primarily about a problem the authorities have created themselves.
It's more a management crisis than an asylum crisis, as the government has delayed decisions for a couple of years now. There have been big problems in the reception centers. There are too little places, but it's not because of an increase of asylum seekers, but it's of a mismanagement of the Dutch government.
The latest data show that the Netherlands receives around the European average of asylum applications per year. Meanwhile, a lot of asylum seekers are worried, especially those who've been waiting for several years.
Well done. You're doing so good. I'm proud of you.
17-year-old Sarah lives in this asylum centre with her two little sisters, grandmother and parents. She arrived in the Netherlands from Iraq 10 years ago, but is still waiting to get a residence permit. A similar case of a minor who was threatened with deportation dominated headlines here over the summer.
It's not good. You don't want to experience that as a child. I grew up in the Netherlands. I'm rooted in the Netherlands. And yet, I don't know what my future holds. My studies could be stopped. The Netherlands is my country. I see myself more as a Dutch person than an Iraqi.
People like Sarah could be affected by what the Dutch authorities are calling the strictest asylum policy the country has ever seen. With these measures, the government's message is clear. Asylum seekers are no longer welcome here.